All right, first up today is South Carolina, represented by head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard and student athletes Arianna, Rodi, and Lexi Winters. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
Yeah, it's a big win. You know, when you feel in your bones that you're one win away from the World Series, I don't know if I could put words to it. Like, we're just so excited. I thought we played really well, and that's what we talked about all week, is that we were just going to have to play really well at this point in the year because everyone's good. And I thought that we focused on ourselves, not necessarily UCLA at all, which is a strategy that we've taken all year. So really proud of the whole team, really proud of the defense. I thought both Jory and Sam looked really good. Big days at the plate for this one, Lexi Winters, Ari Rodi. We just had a lot of things going for us, and we played really well. So really proud of the team, and can't wait to do it again. If it had it my way, we might play a doubleheader and just keep going. We got to sleep it off. So.
Take questions for the student athletes first at this time. Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you, and we'll go with Jack.
Hey, Lexi, can you take us through that first inning home run? You get a 3-2 pitch. What were you kind of looking for in that battle there at the plate?
I usually just keep my plans very simple. I was just looking for a strike over the heart of the plate and just something that I could get a good barrel to. I knew we had a runner at first, so all I was trying to do was put the ball deep in the field and let Q run around.
David.
Ladies actually mentioned it, that it's hard to put into words that you're one win away from OKC. And I know you always take it one game at a time, but is it easy to forget that and try to play tomorrow as normally as possible?
Yeah, I think using the same game plan as we used today. Honestly, got to take it one pitch at a time to be even more in the present moment. But just enjoying these moments, we love playing here at Beckham at home, so enjoying every chance and soaking it all in, I think, is the best way to stay in the present, knowing that how close we are to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, we talked about it pregame of we're not playing to not lose. We're playing to go to OKC, and I think that's exactly what we did today. We grabbed all the momentum when we could, and if we felt anything kind of shifting, we went ahead and took it back. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do tomorrow also.
Al.
Lexi, just from a catcher's perspective, can you take us through what's going through your mind when you see your pitcher make a head first dive?
Well, honestly, the first thing I thought about was her cutting up her hand when she dove, because she did it last week also. But no, Sam has so much grit, and she's going to do everything she can to win, to make the play, to give the team the momentum and the energy, and that's exactly what she did with that play, and I think that just propelled us forward for the rest of the game.
Let's go to the back. I can't see what it is.
Coach, Brooke Blankenship, her first two at-bats, 21 pitches between those two. How much did her just battling at the plate help you all today?
Yeah, Brooke, she's a tough out. Being on the pitching side, I think about having to throw to her, and she just is really patient. She really zones in on what she's looking for. She walks a lot. Her spray chart has kind of shifted at times throughout the year, which makes it really hard to call an at-bat against her. So she was a really tough out, and I think anytime we have an at-bat that goes 10-plus pitches, obviously a CPA for us, which is a huge success, but, there's just so much energy in the dugout, and so really proud of her. It helps, and, she's in the middle of our order, and when the middle of the order does that, it makes the bottom better, and it's just we get into this flow offensively. So it's huge, and I'm really proud of her.
Let's try to save the question just for the student athletes this time.
Lexi, this is the first Super Regional in this park. You hit the first home run of a Super Regional in this park and the first runs of the game. What are your thoughts and feelings as you're rounding the bases, looking at your teammates, and hearing this crowd go nuts?
I was just so grateful. I had 22 people in the stands for me today, so I had to somehow wrangle all those tickets. But just being able to then look up in the stands and see all of my family and all of my close friends from growing up, and then getting to look down and then see my current family with the team and just seeing them all there for me, it's just amazing. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be back here and just take it one day at a time and, enjoy everything I can.
Lexi, you mentioned kind of on that same subject, just the crowd and stuff here today. What's it been like, from game one of the season to now, just sort of seeing that crowd build and the momentum kind of build with y'all to create the environment you had today?
No, it's just so amazing. Usually I have a few minutes before our starting pitcher warms up, and so I would usually walk back and forth from the bullpen to the dugout. And every time I did, I just saw more and more people flooding in, wearing garnet and black, and I just think that is amazing for this program, for this team, and for the future of the team.
Let's go back left.
This goes for any of you. How important is it to win that first game in the Super Regional?
Arianna, you want to go first?
I think the stat is like 82% of teams who win their first game in the Super Regional make their way to Oklahoma City. So I think it's huge from a statistical standpoint. But then just momentum, we get to go in tomorrow and play with no pressure on our backs at all. We're just going to go out there and play South Carolina softball. So I think it is crucial to win that first game and puts us at a really good advantage.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that it gave us a lot of belief and confidence in ourselves that we were able to perform the way we did today and just kind of use the same plan, the same preparation going into tomorrow and just do our thing and we'll be fine.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay. Go ahead.
Arianna, your RBI made it 16 straight 2-out runs. It ended up ending the streak at 18 straight 2-out runs for this team. How much have you all embraced that 2-out bandits mindset?
Honestly, I had no idea that it was 2 outs, honestly. So just playing past the bat and just knowing that, 1 through 9 in our lineup is going to get the job done is so crucial and just helps our belief. So there's no pressure on one person in this lineup to get the job done, So I think that plays a huge part. And just once you start catching barrels, the momentum just goes from one person to one person. So I think that's what's really carried it on.
Take questions for Coach Ashley. Michael?
Coach, kind of to Ari's point right there, but you've got a lot of production in the postseason, really, from the 4, 5, 6, 7 spots in your lineup. How crucial is that at this point in the season to have offensive production down 1 through 9?
Yeah, I think it's a characteristic of teams that make it, and I think when you have production all the way through and then you have more than one pitcher that can get it done, I think the equation of that ends up in Oklahoma. So I think it's awesome. And, Q and Carly and Ari at the top have been fantastic for us all year, but I think it takes a lot of pressure off of them knowing that there's other people behind them that can get the job done. And, I don't know if you can buy that kind of feeling this time of the year that, the weight of the world or, the weight of the game is not on your shoulders. So I think it's huge, and it'll be the reason we go. Mm-hmm.
Same question as for Lexi. You said last week you were worried watching Sam make a tag and a run down. What's going through your head watching her make a diving catch?
Yeah. That was just an iconic moment, I think, and I'm fine with it. I'm glad she made the out. Sam is just the heart and the soul and the grit of our team, and I hope the NCAA takes that photo of her diving for that ball and puts it all over everything from here on out because that's what the postseason's about. And I'm just so proud of her, so happy for her, and really the whole team. And I just can't speak enough to the gratitude we have for everyone that came today. Just the atmosphere. And just when Sam made the catch, the atmosphere exploded. And, just the feeling that you get, I had chill bumps and on my skin and tears in my eyes in the dugout. I'm like, that's what it's about. When you have that feeling that you can make a play like that from, your ace pitcher in the circle. And, it's funny sometimes I look out on the horizon and I see Willie B out there. And obviously I've had a lot of really good days as a student here and now as a coach and Willie B. And sometimes I think in my mind, I'm like, we're just trying to create a little Willie B right across the road, because we get to look at that stadium all the time, when we practice and we train and we play. And I'm like, that's the atmosphere we want to create here with the size that we got. So, you could feel it. You could just feel it in the energy in the air today. It was awesome.
John?
I think you mentioned last week that you liked the Grass-Jory combination.
Mm-hmm.
You flipped it today.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, I knew someone was going to ask me that. So without getting into too much detail about UCLA, I think that, Sam presents some things that are a lot of their weakness. And Sam's kind of like our left-handed pitcher. They got left all the way through the order. And so we really wanted to be able to leverage Sam in higher moments in the game. And usually those are later in the game. So just to be able to bring Sam in at the right opportunity, I felt like was the move for game one. And honestly, I had a lot of confidence in Jory because of how she's thrown the last couple weeks. So I thought she would look great and handle it well as being the opener. So it was a little strategy on our end. And then also tomorrow we are the away team, right? So, tomorrow, thinking about and scripting the pitching out on the weekend, we felt like the right opportunity was, or the right decision was to start Jory and bring Sam in for game one. Mm-hmm.
Ashley, those 5 runs in the first 2 innings there, what did you kind of see from the at-bats against Terry there that allowed you guys to be so successful?
Yeah, most of it's upspin, and I know she has a changeup. I thought, we obviously could see it well. We could see it well. I thought that we've hit rise well all year. So if you kind of look back at our offense, some of the tougher things that we have faced are actually down. So I thought we were going to hit her well just because of what she presents, and we've hit rise well. I didn't think the change was much of a factor, and it's huge to get her out of the game, and she threw 1.2. So I thought we just saw it well. And these guys can speak more to that than I can because I'm not in the box, but our preparation was really good off of her throughout the week, and I think we're good up in the zone. Mm-hmm.
Coach, that diving catch and then that streak that you all have had of, so many runs scored with 2 outs just kind of strike me as examples of like grit and capitalizing on every opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
How have you kind of instilled that in this team and sort of every step of the way this season?
I think it's just who we are, and I think it started a long time ago. Like we talk a lot about if you want to play for a championship at the end or put yourself in that position, like you don't just make that happen in May. That started for us in August and September and October and November. So I just think like the slow drip of mentality and the belief over the whole course of the year is why you see the things you see now. So, I think it's just unbelievable to me that they've chosen to believe that our logo is just as good as anybody else's. And when you believe that, you never count yourself out. So it doesn't matter what the scoreboard says. I mean, we really try hard not to even take the scoreboard into consideration during the game. Ari just said she didn't know there was 2 outs when she was in the box. But the thought process is awesome, right? It's just like you're just so in the present moment that I think, whatever the scenario is back against the wall or we have wind in our sails, whatever, like we play the same way. So I think it was just like a slow drip of that mentality over the course of the whole year that you're seeing a lot of that right now. And kudos to them for playing the game that way because I can talk about it until I'm blue in the face, but, they're the ones that live it.
Anything else for Coach? John?
That first inning, they hit the double off the top of the wall and then have their 2 big boppers coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Does that moment in the game much mean anything in terms of momentum?
You're talking about UCLA?
Correct.
Yeah. I would be lying if I said, we weren't trying to figure some stuff out in the dugout. And the top of their order is ridiculously good, so yeah, I thought that they hit the ball actually better at the beginning, and we were trying to figure it out in the dugout of like, okay, what are they looking for? Are we missing? Winnie and I communicate a lot during the games, even when she's behind the plate. So we're just trying to figure out like, are we missing or are they hunting something we're throwing? Or are we just not in sequence well? Like whatever it was. But yeah, I think we early on felt like they were striking the ball up really well, and I thought Jory settled in and got better as she threw. And then obviously we brought Sam in at the right time. But that was a huge strikeout on Jory's part right before we brought Sam in. That was a big moment of the game for us. Mm-hmm.
Anything else? All right. Thank you all.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
guys. See you tomorrow.